All right, step one, we gotta remove this hatch. To remove this hatch, you're gonna need what's called an R4 bit right here, okay? No one's gonna have it at your stores unless you got a Snap-on or Mac Tool guy. You're gonna have to probably order one. Link is in the description below. And this is gonna be a little bit of a challenging part, maybe. So when you go to remove these, what'll happen is some of these might be seized up in the tank. So before just putting it on a gun, what I would highly recommend doing is putting this on a ratchet or something that you can do by hand, getting it twisted back and forth. Now, for some reason, let's say that this does not want to come out, you are better off to break the bolt instead of stripping it. And here's why. See that one right there? It's broke. It broke off below. It broke off below, which means that I can get my hatch off. Yep, it's broken, but I can pull my hatch off. If you strip this bolt head, if you strip the head on this, now you gotta grind that thing off to get the hatch out. You're probably gonna dig into your fiberglass shell. There is a ton of bolts. This hatch ain't gonna go anywhere. You break freaking 6 of them, it's still not going anywhere. You know, they redesigned this and they use latches, kind of like that right there. It's how they did it in the 240 series, probably because of these problems. So if you're gonna remove it and it feels like it's gonna break, just let it break. That is your best option. If you want to go from there and drill it out and all that, by all means go for it. You will also probably most likely have problems with the back ones. The reason the back ones are going to give you a problem, this is where the water collects. This is where the bolts can rust. I know they're stainless. Stainless steel rusts and corrodes, especially if I'm assuming saltwater boats, probably just as bad. And that's it. So let the thing break. You can get your hatch off instead of having to grind. And then you ain't gonna want to do that because you're gonna mess more stuff up. And then some of you guys that have sea decking or whatever, dude, it'll just go right over. I mean, your carpet goes over it. It's barely noticeable, and it is what it is. So again, use your wrench first. Just work it back and forth. Use PV Blaster. Do everything you can for a typical stuck bolt. Once you get them out, then you know, you're gonna be fine. Another thing is I pull my gas tank off at the end of every season just to inspect and look, and pulling those bolts out every year, nothing has time to corrode and seize up. So that being said, let's go ahead and we'll pull this tank off. Okay, so we're getting ready to put this hatch back on. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna start all these by hand. You're gonna thread them all in by hand. Turn around here. And as you're tightening these down, you don't wanna be on the hatch. You want the hatch to be able to move as it tightens down. Now, you definitely do not wanna tighten these finally. Excuse me, you definitely do not wanna tighten these bolts and crank them down and finally torque them with a drill or anything. You want to do it by hand. I just use a little ratcheting wrench so I can feel each one. I do use my drill, and I set my drill in like the super low setting on the chuck, on the clutch, to where I'm just using them to speed them down. And then after that, I just go around and I just slightly hand tight them, and that's good. There's more than enough screws here and bolts to keep everything tight. So here we go. Alrighty, so again, I have the clutch on my drill set to like 2 or 3, which is a very low setting. If you're not really sure what that means, then don't worry about it. Just grab yourself a ratchet and you're just gonna wanna run all of these in by hand. The reason you want the clutch set low is because you wanna feel if the bolt is going in and it's meeting a bunch of resistance, such as being cross-threaded or something like that. And that's just it. If you've been using your drill for a long time, you know how to use a drill, then it should be no problem. There's just a lot of bolts. So here I go, I'm gonna run them all in, and then I'm going to grab my ratchet and I'm gonna tighten them up the rest of the way. And now we can tighten it down. There you go. So, this is a hatch. It's not cylinder heads. You don't gotta crisscross applesauce, torque them to a certain spec, just snug them up. That's it. And that's how you do the hatch, guys. Thanks, appreciate it. Peace out. Jet Boat, baby, Jet Boat.